What is up, everybody? Steve here. I've been researching as much as I could, finding more legitimate sources for really indications on market conditions for the housing market. And I think I came across a really good, reputable site, and I got to bring you guys through this. So I'm going to leave the links below, but let's jump over here to, it's called huduser.gov. And it's the Office of Policy Development and Research, the PD&R. And again, I'm going to give you the direct link for this, but it's the U.S. housing market conditions. And it says, for each month, the Office of Policy Development and Research produces a monthly report on the health of the nation's housing market. The National Housing Market Indicators Report highlights key statistics and trends in the housing market. Now, if you come over here to March 2022, I click that and it's going to open up this PDF file. Now, I'm going to read two important paragraphs of this. One's on forbearance, and then the other one is a combination of delinquency for rentals, tenants that are not paying their rent, and also the overall delinquencies for mortgages. So check this out. Forbearance on mortgage loans continues to decline, which is good. The MBA forbearance study shows share of homeowners with mortgages in forbearance was 1.18%, 588,000 households in February, down from 5.2% a year ago. The forbearance rate reached a high of 8.47% in June 2020, but was only 0.25% of all home loans in beginning of March 2020, before the economic effects of the COVID pandemic began to be felt. Now, that's good news because we do see that basically a lot of people that took advantage of forbearance, they were able to structure, modify, or get caught up on any past mortgage payments that they weren't paying based on the forbearance opportunity that people could take. But let's jump into housing insecurity due to pandemic remains elevated. Now, HUD analysis of the Census Household Pulse Survey shows that approximately 13.7% or 6.12 million renter households were behind on rental payments. Again, 6.12 million renter households were behind on rental payments. On average, rental households were 2.33 months behind on their payments, and 11.6% were 6 or more months behind. An estimated 9.4% of renter households were not at all confident in their ability to pay their rent on time, and 5.7% or 2.53 million renter households feared eviction was imminent in the next 2 months. Now, I know that there's certain states and certain cities that still have not lifted the moratorium for rentals, which is just a shame for a lot of landlords. I get it. A lot of people do need housing and they're stuck and they're in situations, but it's just destroying a lot of small mom and pop landlords. Now, where it gets a little scary is, if we keep reading here, HUD estimates that 6.7% or 5.3 million homeowner households were behind on their mortgage payments. Again, 5.33 million homeowner households were behind on their mortgage payments. Approximately 2.9% of households were not at all confident in their ability to pay their mortgage on time, and 1.17% or 930,000 homeowners feared foreclosure was imminent in the next 2 months. I know that's a lot of information to take in. So again, I've been researching around, and I don't think that we can actually utilize a lot of mainstream media. George Gaiman, he's got a fantastic podcast, a fantastic YouTube channel. He's got 2 of them, George Gaiman and Rebel Capitalist. And he said something in there that sparked something in me recently. And he basically said along the lines of, we're going to start potentially seeing economic misinformation, meaning certain YouTubers are going to provide detailed information on what's going on with the economy, and maybe certain platforms are going to actually remove that data or remove that information. And then there's going to be a narrative among Main Street, the mainstream media, to provide this narrative of really whatever that they want to do. I mean, look at what the government has done in terms of the CPI and real inflation rates. All they've been doing is manipulating numbers manipulating figures. And anyway, it's astonishing that a lot of the mainstream media is not bringing a lot of this to the attention. I know I have seen other articles along these lines in terms of how many potential foreclosures are coming and everything else, but it's not something that's regular in your face. There's a lot of talk about a recession and everything else, but I think a big concentration needs to be more on these numbers and what's really going on and how many people are in fact delinquent on their mortgage rates. So anyway, I'm going to dissect this PDF more in detail because I think we're going to be able to get some more videos out of it as well. But I did put the links in the description down for you guys below as well. And also, if you're a real estate agent and you guys are interested in listing foreclosures, because I believe that there's going to be a wave of foreclosures, down in the description below, I do have a course on how to get foreclosure listings, so you guys can take a look at that as well. And if you guys are into this kind of content where I bring information on the housing market and updates on the housing market and mortgages and everything else, then I'd appreciate you guys considering subscribing. And if you are a subscriber, thanks again for being here, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for being here.